Welcome to
Good morning.
episode 4 of the Doing the Most podcast. I am your host, Shannon Fairweather. And today I have the most wonderful guest, Zachariah, TikTok sensation, my favorite person to take midday tequila shots with. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm very, very excited to be here because, as you know, this is the Doing the Most podcast,
Yes.
and I think you might just do the most, sir.
It's so funny to say that because I would describe myself as always doing the most. It's the only way to live, though, in my opinion. You got to always do the most.
I absolutely agree. You are very on brand with us, and I think that's kind of what we're going for here. Getting people on that truly do the most, like your damn self.
Well, thank you for having me.
So we are what, like 2 or 3 tequila drinks deep now, just to preface this?
2 to 3, but it's good to lube up the bones,
Yeah.
get the stories flowing. So I think it's essential.
Get a little loosey-goosey, and not that we were sober for the last time we talked, but the last time
we were.
I talked to you on camera, it was a little bit more formal. It was with Dirty Water Media.
Well, you say that, and then you made me take 2 shots before my first interview ever meeting you. But I think that's why we vibe so much, because we got the party started before we even hit record. Oh my God.
I mean, that's like how it should be, right? Like, let's remove the bullshit. I like to drink, you like to drink. Let's connect on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go. Let's take it from there.
I love it.
So we were very, by no means formal at that, but it was a what, like a 2-3 minute interview. So I want to get a little more deep with you on this podcast. And
I'm excited to see where we go with it.
Me too. So let's start with you, kid.
Okay.
So you are from New Bedford.
Yes.
Adorable little fishing town.
Yeah, I actually grew up in the town next door in Dartmouth, and then I moved there after high school, and I've been there for about 7 years now. Yeah, it's a little coastal fishing town.
It's beautiful.
Population of 180,000. I made that up. That's not real. I don't know.
215 people live there.
I don't even know.
we all live in the same house.
No, it's funny because, I definitely am from it's like right in between Boston and the Cape.
Yeah.
I always tell that's how I describe it.
I love it. It's beautiful. So tell me about your upbringing. How did your upbringing kind of contribute to the TikTok sensation you are today?
It's really funny that you say that. I don't know if it was a certain part of my upbringing. I think, so I'm the youngest of 4, right?
Uh-huh.
So my oldest brother is 36, and then it's 35, and then my next brother is 28, and then I'm 26 years old, right? So I feel like growing up the youngest in my house, that didn't contribute to it. I think it was my mom. My mom has been always super outspoken and very animated, and I think I get all of this from her. And we butt heads so much?
Yeah,
we butt heads so much because I think we're just so alike. And I think I don't know if a part of my childhood contributed to this, but I think I've always just been a ham. I've always, no, it's funny. In high school.
You more of a peach to me, sweetheart.
Well, thank you. No, but in high school, I was voted most likely to, I was most dramatic, most likely to be famous. Did you have a what high school did you go to?
Wakefield Memorial High School class of 2016, class president right here.
Did you guys have a Mr. Wakefield competition? Do you know what that is?
No, because things got real politically correct when I was in high school. So there was none of
Yeah, you're right, though. 2016, there was a real turning point around that age. I was 2013, so it was right before that. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, no, of course. Was it kind of like prom king and queen?
Yeah, it's basically a male beauty pageant, and it's very comedy based, right? So I did that, and I won that, and I kind of feel like that was the kind of push for me to be like, oh my God.
That's it. We're taking this to the top.
Well, yeah, no,
to the moon, baby.
Well, I love being a jokester. I've always been the class clown. I was supposed to win class clown, but some kid erased my name off of multiple ballots for him to win, and he didn't win. Nolan Canberra, if you see this, square up. I'm not keep that in there. Keep that
I will. Oh, this is filter free.
No, but seriously, I've long story short, which I just did the long form of that. I've always just.
I got second place for best eyes, and I'm still pretty mad about it.
You should have gotten first place for best eyes.
All right, so the girl who won had 2 different colored eyes.
You were never going to beat that girl.
I had no fucking chance. Michaela Chan, sick eyes, super cool.
The full names are so funny for people in high school. You gotta see the full name. Michaela Chan, congrats, girl. You got them good eyes.
You deserve it.
No, for real, though.
Little spritz and tits to that one.
Spritz and tits. Oh, my God. Sometimes I hear people say certain things, and I bookmark it in my head.
Use it.
Can I tell you one that I think is so funny?
Yes.
When I was working at Olive Garden when I was 18 years old, it was my first serving job ever. I met this old lady, and she was describing another server who was visibly gay, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, that server, and she was trying to figure out how to say gay without saying gay. And she goes, oh, I think he has a little bit of sugar in him. I'm so obsessed with that. And anytime I think that someone's gay, I'm like,
sweet and low.
Yeah, right? But isn't that like such a, it's like not rude, but it's like a respectful way to approach that. I think it's got a little bit of sugar in him.
Especially as like an older woman too, who probably could totally be so fucking politically incorrect about it.
I know.
I love that.
But spritz and tits, I bookmark these things that in my head.
Burp, burp. It works. It works.
Oh,
so,
God.
okay, so you just gave me so much to talk about right there.
Oh,
One,
sorry. Yeah, go.
Youngest of 4.
Yeah.
Something that I think is so cool to talk about is how our sibling dynamic and our family dynamic has created us into who we are. Because I'm the oldest of 3 and the only girl.
Yeah.
With 2 very, very dominant parents.
Mm-hmm.
Both very, very strong parents in a sense. They both are very strong individuals, to say the least. And I'm also a Virgo.
Yeah.
Which, for the listeners who don't give a shit about that kind of stuff.
Fine, you're listening to your podcast, say because you care about it. Say it.
I swear to God, you can take your family dynamic with your sign, and like I can tell you exactly who you are. I swear to God. Youngest of 4, you're probably a little bit rambunctious. You got a lot of attention as a kid. And what's your sign?
I'm an Aquarius.
An Aquarius. I don't know much about Aquariuses.
Yeah.
I don't know much about them.
They're creative, independent people. That was like
So you have the creative, independent with the youngest of 4. Yeah, it makes sense.
And it really is. So yeah, I just think my family dynamic is so different than most people I know because I just grew up in a house where I always felt like I was a lot different than I'm not sure if it was me personally or just growing up gay. And I grew up like super religious too.
Yes.
I was in private Christian.
Zachariah.
Yeah,
that's a fucker of a name.
It is, and I love it. Now. I love it. It's like old. It's actually I was told it's New Testament. It means like the rock or whatever. So, but I grew up in church, and I was always kind of like my family's always been like super conservative. So for the longest time, I was kind of like watering myself down, and then I went to out of private Christian school into public school for high school, and I flourished because I met more people around me and I got to come into my own. So I feel like as much as I love my family because they are my blood, I feel like I have a separate family, which is so weird for most people. But gay people, they get it because you have a chosen family as a gay person because I have a new relationship, and I know you know this. I've been with him for a year. He hasn't met my parents yet, which he will now. He's ready for that now. But I met his parents before he met mine, and I was like, oh, it's because like my family, in my definition, is the people my friends, because that's like my chosen family. And not that my family is bad. I just feel like,
of course not.
I am a certain way with my family, and that's because I've chosen to be that way. But I'm so much more comfortable around my friends and my chosen family.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because I think it's just part of being gay growing up. It's a weird life.
But I am a straight female, and I can relate to you in a sense because my relationship right now, who I've been dating for almost 3 years, I felt very uncomfortable bringing him around my brothers and my dad because he was my first relationship, and it was very, very uncomfortable. And we're actually 3 years in, just getting to the point where I feel really comfortable to have him come sleep over on vacations and be involved in certain things and holidays, and it's finally normal. Mm-hmm. So I obviously can't relate to
but in different relations, and
family, you love them so much, and you also know exactly what they're comfortable with.
That's what it is too. And I love my parents and my siblings so much. I'm really close with my sister. My sister's the second in all of this, and she's 35. She's pregnant. Me and her are like, she is like my like identical twin within the family. But it's so funny. I have a wedding tomorrow, right? I'm gonna go.
God bless you.
I know, and I just feel like I have to be Zachariah. That's like my biggest flaw in life is that I compartmentalize all of my life, right? I have friends from different jobs, different like points of life, and I separate everybody. And people get offended in my life because they're like, oh, why haven't I met this person I've heard about for so many years? And it's like, I don't know.
Because you belong in category B and she's in category A.
And that's really on me. There's no really need for that. You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm so weird about that.
It's not weird. It's not weird. You need to respect your boundaries.
I know, but
you need to respect what you're comfortable with.
Gas me up.
Because a certain group has allowed you to flourish into who you truly are.
Yeah.
But a certain group makes you feel at home, makes you feel connected to family and your roots and who you are in terms of Zachariah Porter and your family and your ancestry, etc.
Yeah.
So don't by any means, because you are doing exactly what you need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Trust always.
Yeah.
And if it's making you feel like, in a sense that you should be connecting with these certain people, then create an environment where you're comfortable doing that.
Yeah. And it's really trying to figure out those appropriate moments to bridge it. You know what I mean? But I just feel like I've done that. I've been so, and I think it was just growing up the way that I did. I've always done that. So now I even do it, and I'm so much more comfortable as an adult in my own skin now, but I still kind of lean into that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like even my boyfriend hasn't met like my parents yet. And there's really no reason for that. Yeah. I'm just so used to separating that when he brings it up, he's like, oh, I haven't met that person yet. And I'm like, I don't really know why I'm so weird about it. Because he's like, is it a red flag? I'm like, no, it's just the way I've always been, It
is. But it's your awareness is huge.
I am aware.
And you'll get there.
Yeah.
You'll totally get there.
We're working on it, babes.
Growth is among us. Spritz and tits. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
It's
This is good.
You like that?
I like it because sometimes when you have canned, it's 12.5. That's why I was going to say, you can tell it's strong. So, it tastes like tequila.
Quick Cutwater potential sponsorship.
Yeah, you should.
These drinks will get you feeling yourself. They are like, holy shit, I just arrived at the bar. I'm the only one sober. You have one, you're dancing.
Yeah, I'm always dancing.
Yourself.
I'm dancing sober.
Honestly. Oh, me too, of course. But these Cutwaters, my mom had 2 of them and fell down the stairs.
Oh, no.
Jolie.
Yeah.
Not again. 2 of them. But
not again.
Do you know what she would do? She would make a mixie with these. So she would put 2 shots.
No need for that.
Of Casamigos, some ice, some seltzer water, and some Cutwater.
I would say most times you do need to cut things with like certain like mixed, but not with this though.
No, these stand on their own. These absolutely stand on their own. But I want to go back because I want to come full circle here. Yeah. So you talk about I didn't know you went to a Catholic school.
Yeah, well, it was technically, for context here, it was Christian, but
Christian. Sorry,
it was religious.
Yes. So how was growing up in a Christian school with the name Zachariah and let me know if this is too personal, but when did you realize you were gay?
My first gay memory ever was 6 years old. My babysitter at the time she would give us her old Nickelodeon magazines.
Yes.
And this is so vivid. So when people think like, oh, like you choose to be gay, I'm like, no, I was 6 years old. And the cover of the magazine was NSYNC, right?
Yes.
In their prime. And I crossed out every single boy on NSYNC, and then I took my 2 fingers like this, and I put it on Justin Timberlake's face. 6 years old. I've always been gay. And as flamboyant as I can be, there are some people that present themselves as way more effeminate than others. Yeah. So I'm like, I would say I'm definitely very gay, but there's a lot more like effeminate men. So for people to say like as a category that gay people don't know what they're doing or don't know, baby, I've known forever. And I think my family always knew. So I even told them it was never a shock. But growing up in school, it was rough, but it's definitely, when I hear other people's stories, it definitely seems like it's been rougher for them.
Yeah.
For me, I have always naturally been so outspoken. So I'm very quick with the comebacks and the insults because it's a defense mechanism.
Yes.
Like
that's
my
such
first
an interesting point.
Yeah, no, you know what I mean? So like I am outspoken, but I've always been, so when people would say that like, oh, like, why do you, like a 4th grade, why do you talk like a girl? Why are your friends always girls? Why do you walk with your hips? I was coming at their throats. Like, say that to me, and I'm going to check you harder than you ever could be checked before because I've always been on the defense. And now as an adult, I don't need to be like that anymore, but it's so ingrained in me that I'm like,
it's a skill!
I almost fought an old man walking my dog the other day because he accused my dog of pooping on his front yard. And I literally challenged this man to come outside and step to me. He's like 75 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm just so ready to fight because I'm so ready to be like, I'm always on the defense. But I think that part of me and me being social and outgoing and funny, I always got the acceptance of everybody because I was funny.
Yeah.
Because comedy is a defense mechanism too.
Yes.
If they think you're funny, they're not going to pick on you. You know what I mean? So I've always had to be funny because if you're not,
it was like your shield of armor.
But if some people
that is
aren't,
so interesting.
if they're not funny or they're not outspoken, they must go through it.
Yeah.
And I can't even explain it because I've always had enough to distract from the fact that I was gay. You know?
Oh, that's so interesting. And it breaks my heart in a sense for the people who don't have that shield of armor that you've had for yourself.
Yeah,
but also, it's important to recognize that what you were doing and why that is ingrained in you, but also how there's good in everything.
Yeah.
Because you probably, I'm sure there was a point for you where you're like, fuck, how am I going to deal with all these kids saying this, that, and the other thing about me?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'll just be funny.
Yeah.
And then you figured that out. And that, I think, has, if I had to guess, has absolutely contributed to who you are today.
I think
and the content you create.
I really, no, and I'm getting chills that you said that, because when you think things, right, your entire life, and then when people verbalize what you think, it's almost validation. So when you saying that, I'm like, every sort of like shitty situation I've ever been in, or at least times I felt small, it's all gotten me here, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would have been in this exact moment speaking with you today about what I do had I not gone through all that.
Absolutely.
And I got through it, and I'm still alive, and I'm such a believer in, like, you know what? Shitty times happen. You push through. You make it happen. You make it work for yourself, and you don't play the victim sometimes. You really got to come across and be like, I am who I am. And I feel sometimes I get that weird feeling too, because everyone's different. I'm built different. I'm built to fight back and fight for what I want. But that's also the reason why I've gotten this far, because I've never taken shit from anybody in my entire life. You can't, you know? And
now you look back on all of it, all the hard times, probably with some gratitude, correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No regrets, you know?
Absolutely. And the amount of times so first off, this is what this podcast is about, is like digging this deep and kind of going through some shit and finding like the deeper meaning in it.
Yeah.
Doing the most
Baby,
with it all. We're doing it. We're doing it. So I love this conversation, because I look at my parents and the shit they went through with COVID.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Hard. We thought the bar was going to close.
Yeah.
We thought all the businesses were shut down. My parents they did not know where to turn. 3 kids in school, still paying off loans. We have the house. Everyone's looking towards them. Where do we go? The bar has never been better now. And not only that, but because of COVID, created an entirely new concept. Entirely. Dirty Water Cape and Islands. It's thriving. It's thriving. It's just like you need to trust. I know saying the universe sounds a little woo, but you need to trust the universe. And if you trust it long enough, the good will show itself. And the harder and the deeper you're into it, the better the up will come. It's the yin and yang. It's the laws of the universe. With the deeper you go, the higher you can also come to.
I'm happy you said that, because I saw I was working with, so I do stuff with Dirty Water Media too. And I was with your mom like a month ago. Yeah. Maybe a little less than that. It was the beginning of Pride Month, and we were filming in Providence. And we walked out together, and that was the first thing I asked her because it was like the second week, or maybe the first week that our like masters had opened up, right? Yes, yeah. So I was like, oh, how is it?
Yeah, because it was May 27th. So
it
was
So it was second weekend that we did that then, and I was like, oh, so what's going on? How is the bar? And she was like, it is so overwhelming in the best possible way, because it was like the city opened up and everybody was so ready. And your mom was just like,
fucking sweaty in there.
Her eyes were welling up, because she was like, I was working. She was working all weekend that weekend because she had to, because it was so busy. So it was like, they fought for it and they got through it. And I've been in restaurants up until TikTok. I worked in restaurants for 8 years, and I get the hustle, and they have that drive, and now that they've made it through it, I can't, that was the worst part of it. Just grind it out. They have that hustle and they have that drive.
And I honestly do believe we are on the other side of this.
We are.
And I think the world is a better place because of it. And call me an optimist or say that, there's this new variant coming out, whatever.
No.
I really believe that the world in some weird way, shape, or form needed something like this. Obviously, the people dying is incredibly sad, and but that's like part of what it was why it was so hard. Families were struggling and businesses were struggling, but now, just as like any other thing that happens, good comes from it.
Yeah, I think
good comes from it.
COVID definitely caused a lot of people to stop and self-reflect on every aspect of their life, career, family, needs, wants, dreams. You know what I mean? I think that's what was important for everybody,
Oh, absolutely. I moved into this apartment during COVID. Shut down. The city was deserted. It was so sad.
Especially in this area, too. You're like in the middle of it all, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's a ghost town.
It's a half deserted now, and this is still normal, like where I am. But it just shows you, And I have a whole new gratitude for all parts of life now. Just the fact that I'm able to sit across from you and talk to you and meet new people, because I'm very extroverted, and that's something I've been learning about myself for sure. And I really reflected a lot during the shutdown about just what my values are and why certain situations make me feel good or why certain situations make me feel bad. And therefore, when you look at a situation that makes you feel bad, you can say, why do I feel this way? Let me dig into this and like heal myself.
I've never thought to do that too.
Oh, that's something I'm big into. Anytime you feel any sort of anxiety or fear or anger, it's just past trauma reappearing like in physical form.
My God.
Yeah, dude.
I get so much free therapy. Jesus Christ.
I know. Let's take a deep breath with that one.
I know.
Oh, it's a lot.
No, you're right, though.
It's a lot.
That was smart, though. It was really well said.
I listen to a lot of smart people, and
well, good to do.
Yeah, no, but it's true. And for example, something that can sometimes make me feel anxious is when other people are unhappy.
Yeah.
When other people are unhappy, is that
an empath?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Mediums have told me I'm an empath, and I'm just also like I said, the oldest, the only girl. So I've always been someone that has really wanted to please everyone.
That makes sense.
To kind of make myself feel good.
Being a woman, I would assume, and being the oldest would also,
because I'm a leader, but I also want you all to like me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that has contributed to how I feel. And sometimes if I go somewhere and say one of my siblings or my boyfriend kind of seem a little uncomfortable, I feel it. But so now I've been able to dig into that. I'm like, why do I feel this way? Because I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I'm 3 shots in. I just had some pizza. Zachariah's here. I feel good. And then I'll be like, this isn't my pain. Like, this is like,
Yeah. So what do you do then if you feel
I help them.
Yeah, okay.
I help them.
That's nice.
Take another shot, sweetie.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, that's a nice, like, it sounds like, in that sense, it sounds like a little chaotic, but like it's productive in that way to be like, hey,
that's just like my alcoholic analogy in a sense.
No, I like it though.
I love you.
For this context, it makes sense.
No, for sure. Yeah. We're from Massachusetts. I feel like it's in our blood. Are you Irish?
No, I'm Welsh though, which is so close. So basically, it's the same thing. I'm more Welsh than anything else.
I'm more Irish than anything else. Can you tell? Look at these cheekbones.
Yeah, I see those cheekbones.
I'm getting my little like tequila redness on.
Yeah, the freckles are coming in now too. Because
I've been in the sun.
Yeah, you're tanner than I am.
This is the best tan I've had before July ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And something I want to talk about is I was listening to an Eric Admita's talk. He created Wild Fit, and he created essentially this program that is a diet and fitness that has changed people's lives and helped them lose a bunch of weight and get really healthy quickly. And I was listening to one of his talks on Mind Valley, and he was talking about the things that the human body needs, and it's good food, organic, vegetables, just clean food, good water, good sleep, and sun. And I gotta tell you, something that just made me feel, and I'm curious what your opinion on this is, with the whole shutdown, I feel like they were shunning people going outside, and we like needed sunlight, we needed exercise, we needed socialization, because the immune system is able to fight back stronger when the human is happy and healthy.
So I think it might have been different for us because look where you live, you know?
Right.
You're in the thick of it. And I was never tanner and more outside of my life than I was last year.
Well, last summer.
All we could do was go outside. That's all me and my sister, me and my best friend did. Me and my best friend, have you heard of geocaching before?
Yeah.
We did 85 geocaches in 2 months. That's all we did because we didn't know nothing to do.
Yeah.
We would go to these like public parks and be like, we're looking for these little tiny containers because we were outside. And I felt great. I did.
I knew people that were scared to go outside, scared to go to parks, beaches, pools.
You need to be outside. You need the sun.
I agree.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're sitting inside right now, take this podcast, walk outside, go get some sun, because I swear sometimes I'll be like a little overwhelmed and there's a pool on the roof and I'll go out there and I'll get some rays and I immediately am just like, the sun's like, I got you, baby.
It is not okay to be inside all day. No way. And then you're in forced air. God, you cannot tell me that like just clean air is not good for you.
Oh,
cleaner than it is inside.
Is.
Always. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you created a lot of content during COVID.
Yeah.
So me, I like a nice coffee.
So me, I like a nice coffee.
What can I say? That must have been so fun to have something like that to do during COVID.
Yeah. Well, TikTok for me started in January of 2019. So I was already doing it for a full year, 2-3 months before COVID started. So
like an OG.
I was already, I don't ever say it like mockingly. I was an OG. I was in it before a lot of people.
He's got it tattooed on his ass.
No, for real. I do. No, I really was. So I was already in such of that mindset to do it. And it was so much easier though to do it then because I already understood what I like to do and like the, I don't know, I get this fire to do it. Right.
Yeah.
So it gave me so much more time to do it. I had some great videos. So yeah, I did have, COVID was good for content, like
good for
time.
business, baby.
It was, and it was good. It was
Amazon, Whole Foods, and Zachariah's TikTok page. That's
because you think about those.
It's so true. TikTok thrived
because people couldn't create new TV shows, right?
Yeah,
so
or
it was
movies,
solely online presences, and TikTok was the number one because it was brand new. But even YouTubers too, you know what I mean? Like, they all got to just sit in their house and that's what they did, you know.
It was very smart, and I mentioned this exact quote in my last podcast. But as Matthew McConaughey would say, persist, pivot, or concede, and it can be taken in any form of life. Do I continue? What I'm doing right now working? Can I make movies right now? No. Can I still create content? Pivot. We pivot. We create something different on a platform that works in this current environment, or can we concede and quit? Which some people, unfortunately, had to do.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Like certain forms of entertainment. Like, I'm sure the movie, think of Showtime Cinemas or AMC. They hurt a lot. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they had to concede. But it's the people who get creative and the people that are able to pivot that are truly, truly able to thrive off of challenges.
No, you're right.
And it's a way to look at things, you know? Like, I'm not going to say another COVID thing happening again because, like, come on, universe, let's get a little bit more creative than that. Let's say, there was a blackout and there was nothing.
Yeah.
Imagine the live entertainment that would come.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want that shit though because, I love me some AC and my Instagram's popping right now.
No, I like that though. I like that.
You know what I mean?
That thought process to you can't just take a wall and stand there. You have to kind of figure out, okay, what's the different direction from there? Yeah.
Take on the challenge.
Yeah.
The greater the challenge, the greater the opportunity.
Yeah. And that was my challenge. But it was a little different just from my perspective because I was already doing it. And it was like, I already had
it already. It came to the next level.
Yeah. But I definitely, through COVID, I definitely looked at myself and was like, this is what I want. And I'm going to push it 1,000%. I'm going to wake up every day with the intention to be like, how can I be? And I still, and I have that every day. I wake up every day and I'm like, what is my plan today to make amazing, memorable moments? Sometimes you fall into it, but your mindset changes where you're constantly thinking how can this be the next?
It's a purpose.
Yeah, it is.
It's a purpose. And something that I talked about on episode 1 of the Doing the Most podcast with Daniel is just having a purpose.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be something as big as become TikTok famous or maintain my following. It can be something like, I'm going to the gym today. I'm getting fit. I'm going to make myself a healthy meal. I'm going to journal. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start writing my book. I'm going to create this charity or plan this event, or I'm going to binge watch The Circle on Netflix.
No, it's about setting obtainable goals and hitting and just hitting whatever you want to do.
Where to God, that's the key to happiness.
Working for me every day. I'm like, I like to do these 5-mile walks. I speed walk, I jog, I sprint, I do what I do. But when I get it done, I feel so much more ready for the day because maybe it's the exercise, maybe it's just the fact that I achieved something that I wanted to do. You really just have to do it. Stop creating excuses. Just do it.
Do it. And even if that's something as simple as I'm going to start journaling or I'm going to start writing or I'm going to go outside and take some photos today, just something related to something in the past that has made you feel good. Like I'm sure exercise is a great one. Great one. If you feel stuck in a rut. I'm stuck in a rut.
I'm
a little stuck. What's something you've wanted to do? What's something you've wanted to do for a long time? Start working on it. Working on it. I was stuck in a rut a couple months ago, and I was working really hard on my marketing business, doing the most marketing, working with our sales guys, building that team. financially, it's been awesome doing all of the lead generation marketing stuff, but I was a little stuck in a rut. And I wasn't feeling super fulfilled creatively. And something else also, as I've touched on, is I love connecting with people. I love bringing people together. I grew up in an environment with a sports bar, and my mom planned events. And I looked up to both of my parents, and I was like, I want to do something similar to this. And then all of a sudden I was like behind the scenes in a marketing company a little bit. And then I kind of shifted, and I was like, I'm going to create this fucking brand. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the podcast. I'm going to blow up the Instagram. I'm going to spend $5,000 on merch and get that going. And all of a sudden, I wake up so excited.
Yeah.
So excited. Like having you here.
Yeah.
Do you know how amazing this is for me?
Well, you got to chase that feeling, and that's how everybody is. You got to like be excited about what you want to do, and you're doing it.
Having
you're
you here is so awesome, though.
Thank
seriously,
you. I love being here.
You are so cool, and just the fact that I have someone as cool as you
here
on my podcast, like I appreciate.
I've only been cool for a year and a half, technically.
That's a long time. That's a long time, and it's just been so fun. And I'm by no means the #1 podcast in the world, or by no means reaching millions of people, but I'm really happy just creating this stuff. And something else that I've heard a couple times in some of the content I've been listening to is fall in love with the process, not the destination.
Absolutely. Oh my God. 100%. Love what you do. My first video I ever made reached 80 people, 12 likes. I was addicted. I reached 2 million people yesterday from 2 videos. You know what I mean? But I loved that first video. I loved the whole silliness of it all. You know what I mean?
Oh my God,
it took me 2 years, but 2 years, it's really, for some people, that's not long. You know what I mean? So everything's possible. You know what I mean?
2 million people yesterday?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, let's say that again. Say it again.
2 million people yesterday.
2 videos.
Yeah, 2 videos. And they were just silly.
You become president with that much. I'd vote for you.
Oh God.
I absolutely would.
No, but I like you said that you have to love the process of
because
what you're doing.
You can't get stuck if then trap. I'll be happy if I have 1 million followers.
No. Because you'll want more
If
at
I
that
have 1 million followers, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
That's what it is. The if then. If I move into the city, then I'll be happy. If I have a boyfriend, then I'll be happy. You can't get if I go to Italy, I'll be happy. Then I'll be happy. You can't get stuck in that. No. It's all about the process. Yeah. So that's something else that you just need to trust so heavily is that wherever you are in life right now, that's part of your process. So you need to love where you're at right now.
Yeah.
You need to love where you're at right now. Yes, please.
So one time, this is so funny. One time, and I won't tell you the time, I met this man. He is in his 40s. He is a therapist for children. He has his own children. When I met him, I was like, oh my God, you are the ideal version of a gay man that I want to be as an adult, because he was he had divorced. Obviously, that was not my ideal picturing, but it was he had it together. He was making 6 figures. He was killing it, had 2 kids on his own. So I would hang out with him, and he was really cool. And he would always kind of since he was a therapist by trade, he had this great insight on life. And we would talk, and he would kind of pick my brain, but not in a really forceful way. And one time he told me this. He said, you cannot always be focused on what your end goal is. He's the best thing to do is to say to the universe, I want this for my life, right? And then let it go. Because if you're so focused on I won't be happy until I get this, you're never going to get there. Right. You have to focus on yourself in the moment, because there's no way to get there unless you're focused on how you now. Because where you are now is how you get there. So let it go. Say, okay, I want X, Y, and Z for my life, and let it be. And then grind right in this moment, because you're never going to get to there unless you're working on yourself now. And you're always focused on that. It'll never happen. And I've thought that, that stuck with me. And it's been years, you know what I mean? And I'm obsessed with that. And I still keep that in my heart to this day.
That is so good. I just loved having you go off on that. That was so perfect. That was so good. And something else that they say is, depression is when you're focused on the past. Yeah. And anxiety is when you're focused on the future. So happiness.
Did you make that up?
No, I mean, I've heard it.
I heard that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You could lie to me.
No, I mean, that's way too good for me to just straight up steal.
I know.
I could reword it.
You should.
Shannon Fairweather _.
No, reword it and then tweet that and then screenshot it and then post it and then it go viral.
I I know. Trust me, there's so many things to do.
No,
My
but
Twitter,
the realist. Yeah, well, we can't complement. It can't be every brand. It can't be every social media. But no, what you're saying though, 100% true.
It's 100% true. So it's like the only route and the only real way to happiness is kind of just being present, as fucking corny as that sounds, and just enjoying the process of it all. Because obviously, I want this podcast right here to get 100,000 streams. 100,000 streams. I want that. But at the same time, if it was just given to me, how boring would that be? And that's why, and this is an interesting conversation, I totally understand why people like Demi Lovato, Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Whitney, they all go crazy. Because all of a sudden they achieve so much so quickly. The process is kind of lost a little bit.
It is, yeah. Especially when you get to that point, you know what I mean?
And I'm a huge Justin Bieber. My entire door, I used to, from those, was it 17 magazine or was it Pop magazine?
I think they were both, yeah.
Both. I would get them all.
Yeah.
My grandmother got me like the subscription. God bless her.
God bless her.
And I would get them. No, she got me the American Girl doll subscription.
She's killing it.
That's a whole different story. I think I signed myself up for these. But I would find every photo of Justin Bieber and I would cut him out. And my entire door. Picture this door with 250 photos of Justin Bieber all over it. I took it down like 3 years ago.
You're like, it's still up actually.
I had 2 life-size posters of Justin Bieber. I love this boy. And I had front row tickets to his concert at Gillette in the Pit. My mom got them for me, like through a Connect, and he canceled the tour because he was struggling so much mentally.
That tour, yeah. I was gonna ask what was that for. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, he was. I'm sure he was.
He was, and I just feel like, especially when you're young, you don't know yourself enough. You're not able to kind of. It's funny. The older I get, at 23, almost 24, the older I get, the more I'm able to kind of, to use one of your words, compartmentalize. Like, all right, I'm feeling this way because I am in this environment and this person is here and this is the situation and I'm dealing with this, and this conflict. I'm really able to kind of take a step back and just be like, all right, yeah, it makes sense that I'm like a little anxious right now or a little tired or, a little angry. And once you kind of understand that, I find it easier to move past it.
I agree.
Feel to heal.
No, you're right. You're completely right.
Oh, I know I am.
I think we're killing it. This is a fire. Do we need to be doing anything differently? Another one that's
no.
Break. Okay, we're good. Fine.
We're so good. I'm not even gonna take this out of the podcast. That's how well we're doing.
Oh, we're in it, guys.
We're doing so well.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
I have a good question for you.
Okay. Go.
So, Shabbat.
I'm obsessed. I actually figured out what that just meant. It means that it's what you say. I'm sorry if I said it incorrectly. It's either what you say on Friday for Saturday or what you say on Saturday for Sunday. It's in preparation for like a holy day, and it's like a celebration of it. And it was, I say it all the time because there was a show when I was younger. I never even saw an episode of it, but it was called Shalom in the Home. And it was like, I don't know, it was like a rabbi.
Shalomies and the homies?
Like Shalomies and the homies. And he would just come in and he would be like, hey, your life is chaotic. Let me fix you. And I just say it all the time as like a spacer, like Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. I like it. So what do you mean? You say it for Saturday for Sunday. So like, so is it like saying something like, oh, I'm going to eat a bunch of greasy food tomorrow and potentially...
I think it's kind of, it's like good luck on your holy day.
Oh, same thing.
It's coming through, bibs.
Same thing. So like brunch and tacos, same thing. Shabbat shalom.
Yeah, I wish I was Jewish. I could have a little more... I
was going to ask you. I was going to say, are you Jewish?
My mom thinks we are, and then I did the DNA test, and I was like, Mom, we are confirmed Welsh. Congratulations. No, I'm not Jewish in any sense of the way.
The Jewish crush it.
Yeah, they do.
They crush it.
Yeah, they really do.
I straight up wish I was Jewish sometimes. They really do. Like, if you look at the people, and like some of the most powerful people in the world are Jewish.
You know what's funny? I think it's a cultural thing because I am friends with, so in New Bedford, right, there's a lot of Portuguese and Cape Verdean people, right? So I've never met two cultures that are so hardworking. I was at a wedding last weekend. My friend Felicia, she described...
Love that name.
So she's half Portuguese and half Cape Verdean. And I see her family dynamic in all of her dad's brothers, they all own like property. They're huge into property and they all do different trades. Like one does carpentry, one does HVAC, one does electrical, and they all help each other. They probably own like 80 buildings. And I went to their uncle's house for the wedding, the backyard wedding, full basketball court, gorgeous in-ground pool. It was stunning. And I was like, oh my God.
A backyard wedding.
Yeah, I think it's just like some people, just like some cultures, they're so ingrained in the hard work.
Yeah.
And I'm inspired by it.
I don't believe in hard work.
You don't?
No, and I work hard, but I don't think that working hard is the key to success.
I think it's hard. I mean to say, maybe it's more hard work ethic. Because you can have a good work ethic and still not work hard. But I think you need to have that that grind in your mentality.
Absolutely. But I think that's something else that is a key is you mentioned all the brothers working together. What I swear to God, the key to wealth is investing. And with the more people you have to invest in, and that comes to working with friends. And when we were lit in New Bedford at that awesome restaurant, I was talking to you about creating your own coffee company. I literally want to invest in that because I want to invest in as many of my friends as possible because that's what the wealthiest people in the world
It's investing,
do.
You're right, yeah.
They invest and they create opportunity.
Yeah, it's making your money work for you.
Yes,
for sure.
absolutely. And I swear it's the funnest way to do it. And even my dad, who, there's one greatest bar. I want there to be way more than that. But my dad's the happiest guy in the world because he owns that bar. And do you know who all his investors are?
Who?
All his fucking friends.
Aww.
All his friends. His dad.
Keep it in the family,
His friend does the HVAC. He works with a bunch of all the promoters are his friends. His friends own the other restaurants around the city. It's like, I think it's the way to do business. And it's genuinely the way I want to continue to work is just connecting things.
Through networking. But you said that's your strength. You know what I mean? You'll continue to do that because you like to meet people. You know what I mean?
No, and something that Bob said last episode was that his main strength, other than, I don't know if you know who he is, he's like, he sounds like he belongs on professional sports networking. Not like television, like announcing sports and stuff. And he says that his main skill is connecting people. And he has 3 million followers, but also my mom was sending me his net worth. His net worth is insane. And he just connects different people in different opportunities. And I think that is so, so cool.
Definitely.
And that's why I love business.
Yeah.
Do you like business?
I like the creative side of business.
Yeah.
I'm not into the rest of it. You know what I mean? It's so funny that you say that because I recently was just connecting with another TikToker who had a potential project. I was like, oh, are you doing this? Because I'm friends with the TikTokers, right? And he was like, oh, I don't know. My agent hasn't told me yet. And I was like, I don't have a fucking agent. And it's weird because I think there was this opportunity where I got approached by so many agencies that to me didn't seem legit or not worthy, but they weren't my level. And then I surpassed that. And now all these people on TikTok who have 400,000 followers have agents.
Do you have an agent?
No. And I think all the agents think I have a fucking agent. I don't have one.
You don't have an agent.
No. And to me, I do it full time. And I don't believe I need an agent. But then there's something part of me, I'm like, okay, am I missing an opportunity or a better pitch because I don't have an agent? But I've done over 30 brand deals. I think I know what I'm doing at this point. Yeah. And I am. I'm still getting booked every single day. Yeah. But it's always this constant reminder. I'm like, oh my God. So, what to be better at business, So
this is such an interesting conversation too, because what if instead of you getting an agent, you created your own network yourself, called it whatever you wanted to, and that doesn't even mean you need to do all the work or the hard work behind it. Hire someone to bring on other TikTokers or hire someone to find brands that want to work with TikTokers.
Yeah.
I'd get involved. See what I mean?
And that's the thing is, but they're out there and they're fishing and they're hunting for it and everything. It's just, there's people that latched on and they know that people need more help. And I luckily have just learned through deal after deal after deal to know what's good and what's not good. And I feel bad for the people who are oncoming because they don't know how much they're getting screwed over and they don't know how much brands have. Brands have so much money. And if you're not going to pitch yourself to them, they're going to pay you shit.
Exactly.
And they're going to say, thanks for the views. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're going to lowball you.
Yeah. And I went to school for advertising and I was like, I know how much a billboard costs on 95, right?
Yeah.
And
how much does it cost?
A billboard on 95, it depends on what area. It depends how long.
Have you seen the Booty by Ray-Bans one?
No. Where's that one?
It was...
Is it
93.
So this one might be more because we're right in the heart city. But if you're coming up, say you're coming through Quincy, right? I would guess that a billboard that was going up for maybe a month would say maybe $6,000-$7,000, right?
A month.
Yeah.
That's not that bad.
Depending on where it is, location, it all depends on people who are seeing it. But do not tell me, as a creator, that if my video is going to be seen by 1 million people, that I deserve that same reach. No. Mine's more impactful than
Yes.
a piece of paper on a highway. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Because just because that amount of people might even drive by it, how many people are actually looking at it?
Or caring about it. Yeah, like if your brand is more focused on like what you do as a niche.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I've learned on my feet pretty quickly.
And that's such a good point. But I like the idea of you creating kind of, if you ever wanted to go down this route, just your own kind of network and profiting off of that. Anything you're having fun with or anything you think you need someone else for, or you need to give away part of your personal brand for, you could easily, not easily by any means, nothing is fucking easy.
Well, what's cool now is that like now I've been approached twice now to do conferences about how to make ads for TikTok. So I feel like now I'm selling like the magic of how to make a successful advertisement. Yeah. So there is this like knowledge that it's in this universe of like influencer, which is such a stupid term.
It's a real thing. It's a profitable thing.
But no, if you look up,
if there was a major for influencers,
there should be, because really nobody knows how much everybody's getting paid, because everybody is so hush hush, because everybody doesn't know what they're doing. Right. So no one wants to be embarrassed about like what you're making here or here, because there's no reference point. You know what I mean? So these brands know that, the influencers know that, nobody talks about it. So it's like I got approached by a girl who was graduating from NYU. It was NYU, and she was doing her whole master's program on like the influencer like marketing and how like, and that's what we talked about. Like, there's just such a gap between like what people are getting paid, what people know to get paid, and there's no knowledge behind it. And they're trying to regulate it currently right now because it's a messed up situation.
Oh yeah, because it's there's no real regulations on it. It's so new.
It is. It's still so new. Yeah, that's what happens.
It's so new. Like people are used to paying actors to come on and act in their commercial. Mm-hmm. But people aren't used to sending somebody products and having them making content on their own personal pages.
On their own, and post it on their own personal pages.
And the power of a personal brand.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so jealous of your personal brand. That's
well,
so
you know
cool.
what the new thing is now too? This is the brand new thing. I've done 2 panels on it, and I've been asked to do it again. It's hiring influencers to make content that doesn't live on their page, that the brand owns, to post on their own socials to build their following. So they're taking my videos that I make to post on their Instagrams to build
Really?
It's like I've been on 2 panels how this is like huge thing, and now I'm being approached by companies being like, hey, but it's better for me because now I don't feel as pressure for it to perform, because I'm like, that's on you. I made the content, it lives with you. So it's a different avenue, but that's like a whole new thing. Now they're like taking it and
it's almost like a commercial.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you had, Leonardo DiCaprio to come in and talk about like a car.
Exactly. But like
or a tequila drink.
Film it on my iPhone and you post it from your
in my underwear.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Hi.
That's the new life though. That's what all the projects are now. It's fun.
It's such an interesting world that we're living in right now.
It is. Interesting
everything. And it's kind of interesting to think as the rise in opportunity, there also comes the rise in, I kind of feel like anxiety and depression wasn't really a thing, like as much, or at least it wasn't as talked about.
I think it's more just not talked about, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like understood now. That's where it's coming from.
But probably because it's obviously has become more normalized with as it has grown in terms of like, for lack of a better word, popularity.
I think people are like, before they'd be like, oh, I don't feel good. Why do I not feel good? Now we're so understood. We understand what we're feeling. So we're like, oh, why do I feel so anxious right now?
Do you ever feel anxious?
Every day. Every single day I have anxiety about everything, about my, since I run what I do, what I do is so instant gratification, right? It's not like I'm performing, like I'm not doing movie roles. So it's like, I make something every day. Yeah. If it doesn't do well, anxiety.
Yeah.
If it's 4 days the video's not doing well, it's anxiety.
Yeah.
Yesterday was an amazing day. So I feel good.
Yeah.
And the people that are closest to me have to deal with it because my highs and my lows are so crazy because I'm constantly comparing myself to a number, which easily to be like, oh, don't do that. You're good, whatever. But my whole career is defined on numbers,
Question for you. When do you create your best content?
I never know.
You never know.
My content is...
You can be in a super low and create your best content?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, of course.
And like sober?
Yeah. I feel like my best content is sober. I feel like I'm more fluid to post content when I'm drunk. I'm like,
how about your
care.
Ideas though?
Yeah, I think sober.
Really?
Yeah. So it's funny to say ideas. There is this phenomenon, and you might know what it's called. There's an actual name. And it's about how like ideas float from people to people. And
Yeah.
if you don't act on them fast enough, they'll float away from you and they'll go to the next person because they're free flowing.
I don't know the exact name for it, but I've heard of
You've
this
heard
before.
this,
Yes,
right?
yes.
There is an actual name.
It's like the idea is almost like this floating being that
It's its
wants
own
you to
being.
take it in as an adopted pet.
And if you don't, it's going to say bye.
Bye.
So the Doing the Most podcast could have been a
Yes.
flowing idea and you acted on it, so it's yours now.
Yes.
If you didn't, it would have gone to somebody else.
Exactly.
I
'Cause
really
it
believe
exists.
that. Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely do. And I also believe that, oh my gosh, this is such a cool conversation. I love this one.
Yeah.
I believe that you also need to be open and receptive to these ideas. And I think that something that the government and social media is kind of doesn't want us to do is have these ideas.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So
Absolutely.
therefore they enforce it, like the news. How about is the news?
The news is terrible. Yeah, you have to be educated enough to understand what you have to have previous knowledge on everything. You can't just take the news for what it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But you have to be in a certain state to get these kind of ideas.
Yeah, and I think I have been in this state and I stay in this state, and I think it's like you have to be open in general as a person. You know what I mean? And once you understand how that kind of comes with energy, I believe in energy, and I don't care if anyone doesn't. I've never been more successful in my entire life than I am in this exact moment because I've been more free thinking in my thoughts. So I think if you are that kind of person, you will accept success. And if you're not, you're going to be given success by someone who is free thinking because they're going to dictate what you get at success. And I think that. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. I love
true.
it. Let me ask you something crazy right now. What do you think happens when we die?
So a part of me grew up...
Because you're talking about energy.
Yeah, a part of me grew up super religious, right? So I don't know if I believe in a God, but I believe in a higher being, and I believe in energy. I think whatever you believe when you die is valid in yours. I would hate to believe that when we die, it's over. I refuse. That just seems so silly and sad to me. So I believe that through being a good person, having good intentions, whether that be you go to heaven, you're reincarnated, I think just being a good person will let you live another great afterlife. I don't want to believe that we die and it was all for nothing.
The world is way too fucking crazy for
too
that to
complex.
be nothing. Yes.
I agree.
The universe, the moon.
Yeah.
Did you see the lightning storm yesterday?
I know.
There can't be lightning storms and no afterlife.
Think about how your body can consume dairy and have like a horrible reaction. That is too complex of a process for me not to just continue on. Like I'm pinching and it hurts. Like, come on.
The way I cry at Disney movies, there's way too much
more
behind that.
to
That's more than
it.
just my brain.
Yeah. That's how I think it's easier to live that way.
My head's big. It's not that big. There's more than just the brain.
Yeah.
Because I've been thinking about this lately, and it's been something that like so like I said, I'm an empath. Whatever that means.
You are
I believe
definitely
it.
an empath.
I'm totally an empath, and I've been just crying a lot lately. And sometimes I'll just like have this random thought, have it be just like I won't even give an example that's sad, but I'll think of something usually related to some form of death, and like I'll just start to cry a little bit. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna feel this, and I'll just like cry a bit. I'm like, there's no way this is just my brain.
No,
there's no, and I'm a sensitive motherfucker, and maybe it might be the moon, the sky, or my menstruation systems, as they say. But I cry all the time, and I just believe heavily that there's a soul.
Yeah, and then you have to like accept those feelings and be excited about it because some people would, I believe in my life, would crave to feel as high and as low as other people do, and I welcome that because I feel like I have really high highs and I have really low lows, and it's a part of like I hate that about myself, but then it's like, okay, well, I'm happy that I can feel the gamut of emotions. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I am a complex being, and I understand that, and I feel like only really complex people can understand that kind of like up and down and be okay with it.
So I've had this conversation with a couple of different people before. You may call it complex. I call it dynamic. So I think there's two kind of peoples in this world, and neither is right or wrong. And I think everyone has times in their lives that they can relate to both. There's dynamic and there's a constant.
Yeah.
So the people that are dynamic, they are emotional. They are the people that when you tell them that you're not going to make it to the 4th of July party, me, and you're expecting them to be there, me, you will get incredibly upset and you will get really emotional about it. That might come out in sadness. That might come out in anger. But at the same time, the highs that come from other moments are so intense.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm an incredibly dynamic person and I understand that. So that's why I've been like, oh shit, like I'm kind of upset about this right now. Like, I'm going to cry. Yeah, I'm going to cry. My friend, Sadia, my best friend, who's here, was supposed to come down on the 4th of July this weekend, and I told her like 3 months ago, like, dude, I want you there. This is like I'm telling this example because it is so small. And she texted me yesterday saying she can't make it, whatever. I cried. I cried.
No, because you were upset because you care about it. That's okay.
It's okay. And like I don't
It's okay.
I don't judge it, and I was definitely like a little upset with her. But then I started saying like, yeah, I'm just being like a really emotional bitch last night. Like, I'm sorry. And it's okay. And I am loving that about myself right now. But that it's important because there's more than just happiness inside. There's like this weird limbo of like, I'm anxious. Why do I feel this way?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been taking the same kind of approach to anxiety, because I had anxiety I still have anxiety every now and then. I was on Prozac, and there is a lot of history of anxiety and depression in my family. So I take a lot of time to kind of, so first off, this is a very interesting point as well. Did you know that adopted children, so children who are adopted from birth, are more likely to get the diseases of their adopted parents than their biological parents?
What?
Yeah, it's all habitual.
Yeah, just like through
it's all habitual. You take on their habits and
that's interesting.
And the way they act and the things they do, and therefore you have that as well, down to cancer. There's one form of cancer. There's a certain cell in the body that makes you more likely to get breast cancer. Other than that, cancer is habitual.
Interesting. I had no
Based
idea.
off what you eat, what you do, where you live.
Yeah.
So it's like, I find that so interesting. So when you kind of just break it all down to, all right, well, it's based off my habits, but I'm in control of my habits, because we're in control of our habits. There's a lot of influences in our life, but once you realize that, and once you realize which influences are causing these cancers, have it be anxiety or physical illness or whatever it may be, you gain back some control, and you're able to kind of find the root to that. And something that is just very big in my family, I think, is we all have a lot. We love to be around people. We're all really big people pleasers, and I think that's something that's been important to me, is just gaining my independence and really just loving myself and practicing being alone. And I've been practicing being alone more and more, because I live in this apartment with my boyfriend, and every now and then he'll go back to his house with his brother, and I'll just like, all right, I'm going to use this to be alone.
It's good to be alone. It is. I think you're the most creative when you're alone.
But that's what I've needed too in terms of my anxiety. I'm like, all right, well, I'm alone right now. And I remember turning 20, it was either 20 or 22, because I was in Ireland when I was 21. And it turned midnight, and it was my birthday. And no one at midnight said happy birthday to me. And my heart broke. Like, but why am I looking for that external validation? Why do I need other people to recognize my birthday?
It's good that you can recognize that thought in general.
Well, I do now.
I think anybody would. I think we're conditioned to recognize that validation out of people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what if I'm just... I'm grateful to be alive on my birthday. It's all perspective.
It is. And it's funny you bring up being alone, because I never had more success in my entire life than I found. So my boyfriend lives in Philly. I see him every couple of weeks or so for a couple of days, and that's it. But when I moved out of my apartment with my roommate, me and my ex had broken up, and I moved in by myself, I had all this time with anxiety, with my highs and my lows, to just always feel out all of those moments, and then to like self-reflect and figure out how to get out of them and how to like be the best version of myself. And I feel like I never would have gotten to where I am today had I had not had those alone moments, because you need to have that time to process and be like, why am I feeling this way? How do I get out of it? And then just sit in it. You know what I mean? Like, being alone is very critical. So
that's what I was just going to say to you. Was some of your hardest times after the breakup and you moved in, some of your hardest times when you were alone?
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. So for me, not to interrupt you, of course.
No.
I was on the Prozac. I was at school. I was at Bentley University. I had roommates. My roommates would always turn me because I was always going home and hanging out with my mom. My mom would come pick me up at Bentley. We would go to Wegmans and go to the salad bar, and we'd sit up on the second floor and eat salad. And like, this was my Friday night in college. And I just did not want to be there. And there was about a year and a half or so of me at school, basically just living this way, kind of anxious. I was on Prozac. I wasn't happy. I was going to therapy for the first time in my life. In high school, I was thriving. In my terms of thriving. I thought I was very happy. But then I was just like in this cycle, and then I was like, I'm going to go abroad. And my parents are kind of like, you're going to go abroad? Like, Shannon, you can't even stay at Bentley for more than 3 days.
You're like, I need it, so.
Yeah, I know. You guys are boring me. I'm going to go away now with my, double up on my Prozac pills because I'm going away for 4 months. And I did. And God bless Stephanie Harris, who came with me. My college roommate transferred from Providence to Bentley, was there for a semester. I'm like, I want to go abroad. Please apply with me. Because at the same time, I needed that comfort. So I took my friend with me.
Understood, yeah.
I convinced her to come with me. She applied. She got in. We went to Ireland. And while I was living there in a room by myself about this size, because everyone had like their own little rooms. And we all had different class schedules. So I was alone all the time. And time difference, so I didn't talk to my family or my boyfriend as much. I got off the Prozac pills then, and it wasn't even like a conscious thing. All of a sudden, I was just better. It wasn't even like, oh, I need to be alone so I can fix myself. It just happened.
No, because you understood in that moment that's what you needed. Yeah.
God bless, because I was in this cycle doing the same thing, going to Bentley, going to class, my mom picking me up, us going making salads. I'd go home, we'd watch Survivor, we'd watch The Bachelor, we'd cook. I was comfortable. But I was so unhappy and anxious, just like so anxious.
Yeah.
And my big thing was like, I don't even know why I feel this way. You know, like I knew my life was really good. I had good friends. I had great family. I was going to a really good school.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's hard. It's hard. But I've talked about this before. But I think that if you are unhappy, the biggest and best thing you can do is just shake the fucking snow globe.
Yeah. In any way you can, you know what I mean?
Change it up. And I didn't even realize that time in my life, but going abroad was the best thing I could have done for myself. I was literally just like, yeah, Mom, I kind of just forgot to stop taking these.
Well, that's good, though. That's the whole point of these things.
Exactly.
Like, you take them when you need them, and when you're done, you can take them stuff off, and you did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I feel like that's not talked about enough.
Yeah, well, you also did a different situation where you did shake it up. And I think that should be a part of the process too. It's like,
but why? I feel like it's not talked about enough.
No. And that could be a factor too, is like, maybe it's the environment and maybe it's your routine that needs to be.
Exactly. It's more than just the chemicals firing in your brain.
Yeah.
And I feel like that gets kind of leaned on a lot. As someone who's been through that, and even once I got on the Prozac and I was going to therapy, doing all the things that I was told I should do, but I still didn't.
It wasn't working for you.
It wasn't. And I think just changing it up helped a lot for me.
Thank God for Ireland.
God bless those drinking bastards.
The Celtic Cross.
Oh, you and I would have so much fun in Ireland.
I want to go to Ireland. I would go to Ireland.
You haven't been?
No.
I would show you around.
I want to kiss that Blarney Stone.
Oh, they're probably letting you now again, you know? That's COVID friendly. You're vaccinated. It's fine. Give it to me.
Oh,
Give it to me. I need another sip of this.
I think that's it.
Okay, so totally different subject.
Yeah.
I've thought this a couple times because, like I told you, I love my family. I'm very close with my family. But there's certain things that I feel I shouldn't talk about on this podcast in regards to myself because it'll make my family uncomfortable in terms of parts of me that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Have you experienced any of that with your TikToks and the content you've created on there?
No, I think I know my family watches quietly from the side, and I just once again I've just always had my own life and my own way of doing things, and I feel like I never thought about it, right?
Yeah.
That they were watching, and then my parents will bring it up sometimes, like, oh, I saw you were doing this, and I'm like, okay, so if you saw that, you saw X, Y, and Z before that. And I really try to keep my, sometimes I go a little off script on TikTok, but for the most part, I try to keep it very productive because I know I'm selling a brand here and I'm trying to make money and I'm trying to be the Zachariah brand, but sometimes I'm a little crazy and they see it, but
don't lose that though, because you know that the key, and I've talked to a couple of different people in literally the past 2 weeks, I've created incredible personal brands, and what they say is stay genuine.
Yeah, people want to feel like it's beyond like a character. They want to feel like they know you and they get you. So, but I've never once. I'm so independent. I make my own money. I live on my own. I've never asked my family for anything. So I feel like their opinions, they know better to be like, I don't like that. I'm like, what are you gonna say about it?
Yeah, what are you
gonna do about it? So I've never thought about it, but yeah, there must have been a couple moments when they've watched them and like.
But does that bring you some kind of like comfort? Because instead of you having to like act that way in front of them or say that to them, they can kind of watch it through a screen and kind of process it by themselves. And the next time they see you, you're like, hey, you know me a little bit better because you watch my TikTok.
It's funny you say that because I feel like I feel like not even just my parents or my siblings, but even anyone in my extended family, I feel like they might understand me as much as I'm playing a character in Zachariah on 1,000 on TikTok. It's still me to my core, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So they might understand me as a person more because I am never that when I'm with them. Mm-hmm. So maybe them seeing that gives them more of an understanding of who I am, which I think is a blessing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and I still show up to things and they love it. My family,
of course.
They think it's the coolest
thing
ever.
And you're doing so well being who you are.
It's the dream.
And I was talking to Kelly Brabants, who created Buddha by Brabants, those awesome leggings. She's stunning. I love her. Leggings. She's so awesome. Do you know her?
No, I don't.
She's so cool. She's from around here. She's from Massachusetts, created these awesome leggings, did live class. She's awesome. But I interviewed her like a couple of days ago in person with Dirty Water.
Yeah.
And I was talking to her and I said, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm creating my own brand. And I'm sure many people out there would love to know what your advice is on creating your own business and your own brand, your own thing. And she was like, don't ever do it for somebody else. Don't ever do it because you're seeing other people do it. Don't do it because it's a cool thing to do. Do it because it is your most genuine self and it's because it's what you love to do.
Yeah, it's
And when
true.
you work, this is what doing the most is all about. Turning what you love to do into a profession of some sort in some way, shape, or form that you can make money.
Yeah.
And have that be leggings, have that be fitness classes, have that be fucking TikTok content.
Yeah.
And because in order to achieve that kind of success, it needs to be something that you genuinely love doing.
Exactly.
Or else it can't reach there. Mm-hmm. It can't. And that's a process I've been getting stuck in a couple times. I'm like, all right, Shannon, like 6 or 8 or 12 months ago, how much joy do you think it would have brought you to know that you have a podcast studio set up in your apartment, that you're working with your brothers on this brand, that you have your own marketing company, that you have fucking Zachariah on your podcast, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like that would have lit me up.
You have to look at I think you have to look at a smaller glance, right? Yeah. So like, I always say this, I'm like, an email tomorrow could change your life.
Yeah.
And you don't know who's going to email you tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you said, like if you look at it, like take yourself a year ago and look where you are now, that's amazing. Now take yourself, you're gonna have that same conversation a year from now. Mm-hmm. I mean, a year ago, I was still working at a restaurant. I haven't worked at a restaurant since November now, you know what I mean? A girl just posted a video I made about her at my job today on the way here. And I commented, I was like, oh my God, how funny a year can be, because now her and her husband own a restaurant and I've like completely done this full time now. Like but we both pushed and we grinded that entire year. So I think work ethic will always show.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. You can't.
And loving what you do, like you just said. Like,
but I think there has to be a love for it, or you can't work to that top level if you don't love it.
You'll never be successful to the point that you want to be if you don't actually love it.
And that's what it came to me with the marketing stuff, because I do enjoy sometimes sitting down and just cranking out some advertisement stuff, like creating some campaigns, organizing stuff. But what I really love to do is I love being creative. I love talking to people. I love connecting with people. I love big picture things. So I kind of had to refine that balance. And that's what it always comes back down to, because sometimes I just love sitting in the dark with my blue light glasses and like knocking out some marketing work.
Yeah.
I love that. And it fulfills a certain part of my brand as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just realizing your values and then doing the different values.
But doing that for yourself will find that even bigger. You know what I mean? Because it's like you like that grind out with that, and then do it for your personal brand.
Right.
And then you do the creative side of the other part of it.
Oh, absolutely.
You've hit every nail.
Absolutely. Something that I've just become more grateful for are challenges. And something that we've been dealing with just a little bit in terms of, we're building our marketing team right now. And it's basically a bunch of college boys. Love them. It's all my brother's friends. They're great kids, great character. But they will come to us with like certain little things like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do this? What should I do? What should I title this? What should I name this? And we're just kind of like, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think you should do?
Yeah.
And it's that mindset that I swear to God it's the key. It's as Daniel would say, it's graduate from figure it the fuck out university.
Yeah, you have to. There has to be able to think on your feet at some point. So fake it till you make it, at least, you know?
But it's all about perspective too. Like I used to of course, I had anxiety. I used to kind of freak out when things got difficult, like in terms of business or family stuff. And now I'm much better at being able to kind of like remove the Shannon empath emotions from things and kind of like analyze where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
And things go a lot better.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want you to be anxious every day. We got to work on that.
Yeah.
You know, like you can have all the success you're having and probably even more without the anxiety.
I think I need to trust myself more. And it's funny, I'm self-aware of certain things that when I come down from it, I'm like, okay, if I did this, but it's hard to remove yourself from those moments. You know what I mean? It is, but it's a phenomenon. Do you meditate? I used to. I don't do it consistently enough, though. I need to have it as a routine, right?
Yeah. Well, no, like you need to know when you need it, and that's when you need to do it. I go weeks at a time without meditating, and then I go weeks in a row of meditating every day. Yeah. It really grows your awareness because, and I was listening to a certain talk on this, and they were talking about the practice of meditation. There's only 3 steps to meditation. Have it be breathing, a guided meditation, or yoga, or going for a walk. But let's use the example of breathing or going through a guided meditation. There's 3 steps of that meditation. 1, it's the practice. It's the listening to the gratitude meditation. And then step 2 is your mind wanders. And then step 3 is realizing your mind wandered. And that is the practice of meditation. And once you understand that, you're able to understand that you are not in control of your thoughts, but your other people are also not in control at all times of what they are doing. So you just get a better understanding of not only your own mind, but then also all the minds around you, which I feel like could help you because just in terms of perspective, me, right? I'm by no means a perfect person, but I am really happy and I love what I'm doing. And I still have days where it's like tough, but what has helped me is the kind of perspective of either where I was a year ago or someone else who, because now that I'm posting stuff again, I'm sure you experience this all the time. People are like, oh, I love your content. I love what you're doing. Like, good for you, blah, blah, blah. From a social media aspect, you're doing very well. How about Gianna? Like, she genuinely is here tonight, like, because she knew you were coming.
That's cool, yeah.
And like, I haven't seen her in like weeks. Love that girl. She does stuff with Dirty Water. She's stunning. She's a phenomenal model for doing the most. But like, she's here because I told her you were coming. And that's because of the brand that you've created by yourself.
It's all about bringing it back to home and being like, it's good. You're good.
Yes.
It's understanding that you're good at all times. And
you're good. You're so fucking good.
Yeah.
Zachariah, you really are.
Yeah. Thank you. And I appreciate that. I need to hear that, which sounds like stupid. No, it makes it feels better.
It's not stupid.
Thank you.
But it's not.
Yeah. It's that like inner saboteur that's always inside you that's like.
It's the ego.
Yeah.
It's the ego. Do you know why that's there?
Why?
It's because as human beings, the ego is there to keep us alive. Have that be, this is going to eat me, this is going to kill me, this person's going to stab me in the back with a sword.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why it's there.
Yeah.
But it's important to realize that evolution-wise, we don't need it as much. And our brain has changed in so many ways, shapes, and forms that it's important.
No, it is.
To realize, like,
that I'm okay and that everything's going to be okay. Yeah. Life is precious, and I just want to work as hard as I can. But I have to be grateful for what I have at this moment and be confident in what I've done so far. I'm built to want the best and to always want consistently the best.
Yes.
Which will keep pushing me. But yeah, it's a daily challenge.
I think that's what we need to end it on. That was so good. I mean, like, I just want to say thank you. This is by far the most vulnerable podcast I've had yet.
Because it was just us. And I trust you, and I think nothing was forced about this at all.
I know. But
thank you.
I would love to have you on here again.
I will come back, please.
I'm so honored to have you on here.
Thank you.
And I think what we talked about and a lot of things you said, people need to hear. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, I'm so excited to see what all comes together, too. But this was such a fun podcast to be on. And
you want to go make out?
Yeah, I think we should. There's a closet behind us. Guys, we're going to go make out. So thanks for listening.
Bye.
I get by. I just wanna be happy.